Welcome to White Hats, honey. Welcome to
Hey,
White Hats. It's asking me if we have an intro video. No, this is still a bootleg
wait a minute.
operation.
Wait a
This is
minute.
still a
Let's hum a little something. Dum 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 dum
we
dum
need
dum
some
dum dum dum.
theme song.
Boop boop.
We will get there. We will eventually, we're gonna have theme songs, trailers, all that. Right now, we're bootleg. We are just putting info out. When if a situation pops up, here's what we do. We're gonna confront it. We're gonna research it, and we're gonna most importantly talk about it, putting people's business in the streets as needed. Right? That's what we do best. Why can't there be an actual job title called putting people's business in the streets? Like that should just be.
Well, isn't that called nosy neighbor?
That's not a paid job.
Oh, it can be, especially in these times. We could definitely, if we
Yeah, I
get
think
enough
we need to.
followers.
Yeah, I think we need to. There has to be something else to this for us. Um,
Wait a minute, that's a talk show host. You know the ones like the ones that are like what's her name? Jennifer Hudson and
oh
and
yeah,
and and all of them.
but
They
that
get paid.
yeah, but see, nobody's doing this.
Of
Nobody's
course
gonna
not.
say this person wronged me. This is how they wronged me. They're a person with a certain level of power or privilege, and this is how I'm choosing to, hopefully get some accountability or not, right? Like, so that's the rub right there. Is just getting people to be able to do that. It's all fun and games to have people singing and dancing, and I'm sure, and there's other stuff that people talk about for sure, but this is a whole other level. It's that high level whistleblower stuff that gets you in trouble.
Well, we're making good trouble. You
Yeah,
know the whole good trouble,
allegedly. Yeah,
trouble,
the good trouble.
allegedly.
You can make good trouble. You pay the price. The price
Well,
is
we're
high.
talking about our life experiences.
Yeah,
We have been through some stuff that people would never believe.
it's so insane. It
I mean,
absolutely
and
is.
it just keeps, it's like every day we wake up and it's like, okay, what bleepity bleep today? What's
Yeah.
going on
See,
today?
my family always said never ask that question.
Oh,
They said never ask. Anytime something would happen, I say, "Oh, what else can go wrong?" They would go, "No, don't tempt fate. Do not ever ask that question." So I stopped. And you still see all the messed up stuff that happens to me, and I don't even ask the question.
well, I attract messy.
You do. You
I
attract
attract messy
things
and
that I've
I
never
attract
seen. Yeah. And I
stuff.
think I attract my fair share of things too, but why does mine always have to be like it just seems just so out there, and it's always some, like tackling some ridiculous power structure, that I have to, this whole David and Goliath is my life. And it's exhausting. I'm just, ready for a breather from all of that. But it seems like that's hard to do. So how was your we haven't been on in a little bit.
No.
So I've been down in Georgia dealing with we didn't have any hurricane damage, anything like that from Helene. But obviously, a lot of people did in North Carolina and southern parts of Georgia, so Asheville and little towns outside of Asheville, North Carolina. And I think what was sort of not as talked about was some of the towns in Georgia that were hit hard. And so definitely want to send our prayers out to those people, and obviously extending prayers out to the people about the deal with Hurricane Milton,
Oh my
because this
goodness.
just looks and sounds otherworldly. Like it looks like stuff you've only seen in movies and heard about. It's like the absolute worst that can happen. So I'm just really sending prayers, and I reached out to a couple of people that I know that I think might be affected, just to say I'm thinking about you. Let me know if you need anything, and whatever I can do. Hopefully, you always feel so helpless, in these situations, but I think sometimes if you just let someone know that you're thinking about them, that is so helpful to their spirit. Just to know that there's someone who's not even like related to me or not my neighbor, but there's just someone in the world that's saying like, I'm praying for you, and if you need anything, I'm there. So I think that if people are feeling like, what can I do? It's simply that. We all have these Facebook friends and acquaintances that we've gotten to know over like decades now, probably. And you think about the people, how they came into your life. People maybe you've met at conferences or
Mm-hmm.
maybe through like your children's kids activities or whatever. Maybe you've had some moves, like we've had several moves. So it's just, I just want to like reach out to people and just say, I hope you're doing okay. Yeah.
And it's we're sitting here and we're waiting to see, because my mother
Yeah.
and stepfather, they're not leaving, and the
And
kids are on edge.
in the air. You don't have to say the town if you're not comfortable.
Right. Oh, I don't care. They live in Beverly Hills, in Beverly Hills, Florida. So
there's a
they're
place called Beverly Hills, Florida.
Yes,
I never
girl.
knew that.
There's a Beverly Hills, Florida.
Okay.
They live in Citrus County.
Okay.
And if you look online, you'll see that they had a full county
Wow.
evacuation, not suggested mandatory evacuation, and they built their home and they're not leaving.
Looking it up. So,
Yeah.
so how do you feel about that? Like, what's your own personal feelings? Like, how you
You don't want to know my feelings, but
good luck. You just, pray. Oh yeah, I just looked it up. Oh my goodness,
and they're not leaving. They're close to
Wow.
80 years old,
Yeah,
and
like
they
literally
have the
there.
means. They
That's
have the
wild.
means. This is the thing that gets me. They had the means to say,
Yeah.
I'm going on vacation.
Yeah.
I'm hopping on a flight today, and
Yeah.
they just stayed. And you know how those houses in those rural areas are.
Mhm.
All this glass. They have an in-ground pool.
Mhm.
So they have. I'm thinking about the glass for the windows and everything that they have. And
are they on one level, or do they have a
it's
couple
just
of levels?
just one level.
A lot of homes in Florida only have
No, right. No basement.
like large ranchers, or
They have, and they have the skylights,
Mhm.
in several rooms. And I'm like, danger, danger, danger. But
Yeah.
what can you do?
Yeah.
And the saying is, God takes care of babies and blanks.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just keep them in your prayers,
Yeah.
because
Will do.
everybody else is leaving.
Yeah.
And they're
Well,
like, no, we work too hard to keep this. And I'm like, okay. And then this morning, I'm talking to Jelani about it.
mhm.
And kids, these kids that were born after 2000.
Yeah.
There's
They don't.
pre-2000 and
Yeah.
after 2000.
Yeah.
Well, I hope we can find them. And I'm like, what are you talking about?
It's like, John, that's not what I want to hear right now.
No. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying not to worry, because, I'm
Yeah.
estranged, but that
Yeah.
doesn't mean I want.
You don't care, right?
Right. So
yeah.
knowing
I think what I learned from all of this, I've been watching a lot of people's TikTok videos, and I'm glad that we have these live accounts of things happening, because it never really, it's crossed my mind, of course, right? Different people's economic situations. But to actually hear people say evacuating is a privilege, I'm stuck on that. I heard a TikToker in one of her videos yesterday say that, and I was just stuck on it for a few hours. It just kept like in my brain, just kept rolling in my brain, like evacuation is a privilege, because there's a few factors there. Not everybody has the money to just be able to, oh, let me go get a hotel. Not everybody has a car. Not everybody can afford gas for their car, the amount of gas you would need for a trip of this magnitude to get you away. Not everybody has a family to go to,
right.
And or other homes that they might own to be able to go to, can't afford a flight. So it really made me start to think about, just emergency preparedness in our country a little more, and how can we best, help those who don't have these types of privilege, because it is a privilege to be able to say, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to fly out of here a week early, right?
Right, and which is what
I get out of here a few days or a week early before this hits. And there's always going to be people left behind, even farmers. We don't think about, like they can't. Oftentimes, you're going to leave your animals behind, you're going to leave your crops. You're going to, a lot of people are about to lose a lot of things. So.
But see, they're well off, Tamoria. They're well off. They're a 3-car couple.
Oh, this year up here?
Yes. 3-car couple. They have bank accounts upon bank accounts. They have other homes.
Right. And they were just like, nope.
We're staying. There's nothing, we're not leaving. And I'm like, really? Really?
Girl, what's your dog's name?
Vixen, he's not mine. Let me get it straight. He's not mine, and 3 of the cats are leaving this weekend. So I am
An
thrilled.
animal.
I went from having no animals
Mm-hmm.
to having way too many animals and going out of my mind. Vixen and Lee have this relationship that let me just say it's interesting.
I bet.
Very, very interesting. So they're out there probably she's taunting him over something or
Mm-hmm.
taking something of his away.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like having an extra child in the house.
Yes.
So that's what you heard, and she gave it back. That's why we go through this every day, and I'm like, leave his stuff alone. But I don't substitute the word,
Yeah.
And it's just crazy how he's not mine. And because Jelani's working, I end up with him.
Right.
So I mean,
I'm glad grandma over there.
Yes. Yeah. I have a grandpa.
A pet grandma.
Yes. It's driving me insane. I did not sign up for this. And I told my children, these animals, they're not what I meant when I said I wanted to be a grandmother.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't what I meant. So do not think that you don't each have to give me at least one grandchild.
Right. Right.
So
getting to today's episode, our main topic. What did I write on there? Facebook accounts hacked?
Oh, don't. So it's a lot.
So wow. I don't even know where we begin. I think it's important. So you texted me. Has it been 3 weeks now?
3 weeks as of yesterday.
Because this is kind of, I think, also like we just had to recalibrate too after this happened because it was like
it was horrible.
It was
12 years of work.
You weren't feeling good. And
right.
then like you lost your 12 years of following from being hacked on Facebook. And so we were just needed like a little bit of breather, before we could like get another show together. But I think it's important to first tell everyone what your page was, what it stood for, and why you created it. And then we can go into the hacking itself.
Well, Quietly United and Lost Together, QUILT is the acronym,
mm-hmm.
It was never supposed to be an organization. It was only supposed to be a one and done event to raise awareness to different types of pregnancy and infant loss. So I created the page. I pulled in other organizations to work with me, other pregnancy loss organizations. And as women do, the little petty stuff got in the way.
Mm-hmm.
And I ended up turning it into a 501c3. Throughout the years, the page has been used to honor babies who are not here from conception through age 2.
I'm going to share a little bit about how you do this because, I've known you for several years now, and I remember the first year seeing you do this. Mm-hmm. And so can you explain to everybody what this is that you would post on Facebook?
Yes, we honor birth dates. We honor angelversaries, which are death dates. We honor just because this is Pregnancy and Infant Loss Awareness Month. So I made graphics. I do that once a month.
And you do this for every single person
right.
who wants it. So you are creating a public memorial
mm-hmm.
for infants who died.
And they'd never be talked about.
Right.
Sometimes I do videos just mm-hmm. saying names.
Yes, I remember. I think that might have been one of the first things that I ever saw several years ago. Was you just listing the names, and I just couldn't get over the magnitude of the time that you took to really name each child's name and, just be able to honor their life in that way. And I know it was so meaningful to the families. I used to read the comments under the post mm-hmm. when you would do that. And, again, it's sometimes these little things that mean so much.
Exactly.
To
because
people.
We're the only ones that say our children's names.
Mm-hmm. And so then you would also, it evolved a little bit because then you started doing these individual public posts for each person, correct?
Right. Across the platform.
Yes.
That way
I
people
remember
would
that.
know and see the impact.
Yes.
See that this is still happening because there's a misconception surrounding all types of loss, that you had to have been X, Y, and Z, or you had to have done something wrong for this to
Yeah.
happen. Many of these babies were healthy babies,
Right.
and something was missed. I lost my daughter because of missed preeclampsia.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And instead of stealing my life, it stole hers.
Yes.
So had she not died when she
Mhm.
did, I probably wouldn't be here. So fast forward to
So
the
how
day
did
this
you,
happened.
yeah, so how did you find out? Did someone tell you or did you just click on the
Yes,
page? Okay,
I
so
um
because I
I
was like,
I
when you
only
texted me, because and at first, you know how I am. I'm like so
hmm
like matter of fact. I'm like, this will be okay. We will find a solution. And then I remembered what happened to me, and I was like, wait a minute. I totally forgot when this had happened to me. And a person took the picture of my daughter and I, the one, I had the traumatic
yes,
15 years
yes.
ago, and took it as their own, created a whole
hmm
page with the picture of me laying in the hospital bed, connected to oxygen, holding my newborn, and
hmm
made a whole profile and took a lot of my intellectual property, right? Things that I shared
Yes,
publicly, right? All these things.
yes.
I reported it to Facebook, and I keep getting, and it was like you, hundreds of people were writing to Facebook. This is not Tamoria,
Right.
these pictures were stolen, and they totally kept giving me that same response of, this does not violate community standards. And I'm like,
Yes.
someone's posing as me. How does, and it's like, so tell us how you found this out.
Before I get out of bed in the morning,
Mm-hmm.
I would go to the page, check on the page, post whatever needed to be posted for that
Mm-hmm.
day.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then I wouldn't go back on until late at night,
Okay.
because the page at this point was pretty much self-sufficient. If
Right.
someone needed something, they'd inbox me.
Mm-hmm.
I mainly did things on the weekends when I wasn't teaching or what have you, and I made it a point to once a month um, do whatever graphics, unless we had multiple dates. Like this month is a huge month.
Right.
So I'm sitting here, and my son comes home from work, and he's animated. Mom, you haven't been on the quilt page since this morning, have you? I think somebody stole the page, because I'm getting all of these crazy videos. And did you change the page to a
Oh,
flag?
oh, I didn't realize Jelani told
He
you.
told me. I wasn't aware. None of my followers on the page said anything. They were actually commenting beneath the
Right. They're
posts.
right, right. They're like battling in the comments, like,
Right,
this
right.
is
Who
this
is
thing,
this? This isn't
right,
NECA.
right.
Why are you doing this, etc.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody came and told me.
Mm-hmm.
But Jelani said, well, I didn't want to call you and tell you, because I know this would have made you really upset.
Wow.
Which, when I tell you, I wasn't, like, as you mentioned, I was already not feeling well.
Yeah.
And this set me back a week,
Yes.
because the thought that people will post, I mean, there are so many, this page was not designed for this.
Right, and that's what really got me. So if people can see, this is the profile page, but obviously not the profile picture that you usually have.
No,
So they
no.
kept your name. You have,
Yes,
almost 10,000 followers on the page, and
right.
it
And
clearly
right.
says Quilt is an organization that provides support, advocacy, and education to families who have suffered a loss from conception through age 2. And
Yep.
then it goes on to give,
My
more
information.
right. So this is so much, again, this is like your work, your personal information. This is a
But
pregnancy and infant loss awareness campaign started by NECA Hall, which is you.
yes,
Right.
yes, it's me.
So
Me,
we
me,
did the
me.
description, and it goes on to talk about some of the other things, I screenshot. So
hmm
all of this is still there. I just screenshot this morning.
And
So
then what they did
this is
was,
your work.
yes, and they changed the location from here to New York. They
Wow.
changed the phone number from a Massachusetts phone number to a New York phone number.
Oh my goodness.
Um,
Wow.
and they've been posting. We never did anything political.
No,
Quilt
you
is
didn't.
international.
Yeah, and you made it a point of saying that. Even in the description, if you
Right.
scroll further down, I kind of cut off, I think, a little
That's
bit.
fine.
But I
That's
know that
fine.
it's
But it's
no,
international.
right.
We
It's
have people
international.
and we've
You don't
supported
talk, you're
people.
not getting into this side, that
No,
side, no
no,
politics.
no.
This is about supporting families with
Yes.
loss, period. And that's so much of what we talk about in maternal health. We are here to support people in their journeys, period. Right?
Mhm.
As Black women, obviously, we have a responsibility when it comes to Black health issues too. But it's not like we don't take on all of it. We've taken on
Right.
all of it, you know,
Right,
in
right,
so many
right.
different ways. So I was going through this, and what I thought
Ooh.
was so fascinating was it made me start to think, are reproductive health pages in particular, I'm like, now I'm sort of, you know how my mind works, and then I'm start researching, like, I wonder how often this is happening to maybe reproductive health pages. And then what made me think about it was, of all the things that your page could have been hacked with, made in the USA,
It
like
gets better.
specific, you know, American, you know, it's not like it was some random, like, you know, that it's this really strange to me, like that's the
And
branding now.
I don't know if you had a chance to go through some of the posts on the
Oh, I
page.
did. I put some in my infamous slide.
Did you see whoever this is supporting?
What is, oh yeah, you know, I saw all that. Let me show you this because I, so first of all, so this, it kind of made me sick to my stomach.
Mhm.
Sorry, you know my life. So every now and then my daughter will text and she's complaining about her lunch, saying that she didn't get a good snack. My 14-year-old. We're still go back to this. Okay.
Why
Buy
did
a snack. Buy a snack, right?
why didn't she make her own lunch?
How about that?
You know?
Okay. So here I only looked to make sure it wasn't important, right? So now
Mhm.
she's gonna harass me over the snack. Anyway, so
Well, you know
made
how
me
kids are.
really right. So what's really irritating to me, it was just disgusting when I went through your page. First of all, they they post multiple times per day, and it's like to erase you. It was very hard for me
Yes.
to scroll back. I actually clicked on the photos portion of your page just so I could quickly scroll through to get to when did this happen. So it was like September 8th, I think, was like the last post you had,
Mhm.
and then maybe there was one in between, and then September 17th was the date that your page was taken over.
Yes.
So
And it happened quickly.
it did. And so there's, I mean, they post so much per day that all of your work is like lost and it's confusing to your followers. So I'm like, how do we go from infant lost to we're posting about pizzas and P. Diddy and this person, right?
Yes.
Like, you
Yes.
know,
Oh
I'm
my
like,
God. When I
well,
saw
I know you were sick.
I
I'm
I had to
like,
take to my
this
bed.
is
I
so
couldn't
crazy.
teach.
This,
Um
yeah.
it was like I'm like, so now I know who they're supporting, which is not
Mhm.
something that you could never tell my
Mhm.
political stance on this
Right,
page
right,
because the whole purpose of the page was to support anybody who suffered a loss. Didn't
right,
care about loss is for me it's universal. It doesn't
right,
there's
yes.
no color,
Mhm.
there's no political affiliation,
Right.
there's nothing. And here we are
Mhm.
now with all of this pray for yes, pray for her when I
Yeah,
saw that. And then if you keep looking, a lot of posts about him,
yeah.
um, which is
It
hilarious.
was so many. It was, there's just tons, and then just some of them are creepy, you know, some,
Yes.
and then to your followers who, let's be honest, anyone that suffered infant loss, it doesn't matter if it was recent or 20 years ago, it's, some things are still triggering. And there's
Yes.
some things on there that
Oh yes.
the hackers have posted about death and missing
Yes.
children and just weird stuff that is so upsetting. It is so triggering and awful. I felt so bad for you because this is 12 years that you've spent building a community,
Mhm.
and you've built trust with the community. And also the community has depended on you for a lot of support.
Right.
And then in an instant, all of that can be washed away with no accountability, no help.
Yes.
So now you then tell me the story, or I think you know how I get. I'm like, wait a minute, let me dig deeper into this, and I get some more details from you about it. I see that tons of people have written to Facebook about it. We're all getting the same message. So then I do the post a few days ago saying, we're going to talk about this on our next show. So you see, so first, this is my post, my public post I made on Facebook. When I posted it, it went through. And then when I logged back on, it was like a weird response to the post, but it was still there. So everybody can see this on my Facebook page. I just said, have you noticed an increase in hacked pages lately? And I talked about your page and what happened. And then a little bit about my investigation early in my research, if you will. So then next thing, not even 2 minutes later after I posted that, my account suspended.
Yep.
And I'm like, what did I do? I said we had this issue with Facebook. So then I'm like, so they can monitor that though. They can monitor that anytime something comes up with Facebook and perhaps something negative about Facebook. And they can address that quickly.
But they can't get me my page back. There's nothing, right. They're not finding anything that goes against community standards.
Right.
And I'm still trying to figure out how whoever did this was able to take this page off of my Facebook personal profile.
Yeah. Yeah. It's unbelievable. So then I appealed. I filed this appeal, and wow, they make you go through a lot for this appeal. So I think first I had to put in, I was very uncomfortable because I had to give personal information.
Right.
So I think I had to enter my phone number or my email.
No.
So then after that, it asked me for my license. It said,
no.
Passport. And I was like, I'm not giving that. So I'm going to be honest. I found an old ID and use that. It's still me. There's nothing false about it, but I was like, I'm not giving anyone my passport photo or my current, license photo. This is insane. So then a few minutes later, I was back on. But I would
change your password.
Right, I did.
Good. And I change mine now every week, so I'll never know what my password is.
Oh, I can't.
But I'm so paranoid.
Yeah,
because I have other pages.
Right. So then it was like, look at the language there. We reviewed your account and found that it does follow our community standards on account integrity. But where's their integrity?
They have none.
Okay, you can't ever get in touch with a person.
No,
that
is
a problem. That's
a
huge problem. Because if you were able to actually talk to a human being and you actually could file like a case, it's like anything else. Like if you had someone charge something on your bank card or your credit card and it wasn't you have a case. You call them or you fill out an email form saying, hey, this charge wasn't mine. I need to, cancel my card or whatever, or this needs to come off. And either they do an investigation, and 9 times out of 10, it usually works out for the person that it happened to, for the victim saying, I don't think I've ever had the bank say, oh no, we found that this was not what you said it was, because, so I was really, really started to think about, okay, how do these accounts get hacked? And also how many times has this happened? So then that's when we went into I thought I put this in here. What's it called? Is it in there? I found the information about the lawsuits.
That's right.
There are tons of lawsuits. Tons.
Yes.
They have a huge class action lawsuit going on right now for people's being hacked.
Yes.
What's making people upset is what happened to you. The fact that there is no one to speak to once these things have occurred.
But let's backtrack for a minute. Did
Mm-hmm.
you know about that $725 million lawsuit that was won last year that's on appeal right now?
I just read about that. I
And
just read about that.
and I'm sitting and I'm like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you become a part? I mean, we research. That's
Right.
the only reason we found out about that lawsuit
Right.
that was actually filed the day after
Right.
my page was hacked. But
Mm-hmm.
let's
Right.
talk about that $725 million lawsuit for a minute.
Right.
The fact that Facebook was able to appeal, and
Mm-hmm.
those
Pull
people, the
it up.
money was awarded to them.
Right.
And now they have to wait to see
They have
what
to
is
wait.
going to happen. I hope they get their money because those people, their information was stolen,
Mm-hmm.
not
Yeah.
their page, their personal information. And
Right.
harm was caused because their personal information was stolen.
Right. So I just pulled up the lawsuit here. Sorry, I forgot to put it up on my PowerPoint.
Mm-hmm.
But it basically said that the 27-page Facebook lawsuit accuses Meta of violating its own terms of service. That's so important. Violating its own terms
That's
of
right.
service and privacy policy by systematically denying users access to their own accounts amid an apparently pervasive hacking problem where unauthorized parties gain access to user accounts, change the passwords and contact information. Tens of thousands of Facebook users without access to their own accounts have dealt with hackers posting inappropriate content, soliciting those in their social networks under false pretenses by masquerading as the users, and causing harm to the users' goodwill and reputations. And that's exactly what happened to you.
Yes, it is. And
So, yeah, go
but
ahead.
but at least my followers knew it wasn't me.
Yes,
They knew because I never changed in the 12 years.
right,
I never changed. I never would say, well, this is a person we need to be voting for. I never
right.
would post anything that was as horrific or
Mm-hmm.
graphic as some of the things that have been posted on the page. The only time I posted about food was when we were doing a popcorn fundraiser,
Mm-hmm.
and that was many years ago.
Right.
And any money that was made by the page went back
Mm-hmm.
into the community. And it was only the only time that we attempted to make money was when someone came to the page needing money to bury their child
Right.
or to buy a headstone or something
Mm-hmm.
related to the death
Related
of
to,
an infant.
right.
So now I'm sitting here and I'm like, first of all, if you're watching and you are still on that page, leave. Because the only reason they wanted the followers was so that they could monetize, which is something that I never thought of doing for that page.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So if they don't have the followers, the page will no longer be. And they not only took me off of the page, they removed me and all of my admins.
Wow. How many admins did you have?
I had 3 admins.
Oh, wow. I never knew that.
And we were going back and forth
Mm-hmm.
and we tried everything, each one of us.
Yeah.
Because the page meant a lot to all of us because we're
Yes.
all lost moms.
Yes.
And we
And you
spent
had a long relationship with them, I imagine.
yes.
Yep.
They came to that page because of what it stood for.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just so hard to believe because there are people who did videos on the page who are no longer with us.
That's for me, the history.
Right.
That's what I think about.
And I'm going back through and looking and pulling those videos off to put somewhere. But do I trust Facebook enough anymore to try to do this again? And the answer is no.
No.
What I've done is, I went to some other organizations, and a group of us are just going to do one page together.
Okay.
Knowing that we have to keep changing the password.
Oh.
The password has to be changed. And I told them,
Yeah.
yes, I'll be okay with it being changed once a week, but we can't go beyond once every 7 days. And that's because
Yeah. No, you
these
can't.
hackers are busy.
They're so busy. And so in the lawsuit, it also says that Meta does nothing for those who lose access to their accounts and information as a result of hacking, namely because the company, quote unquote, decimated its customer support staff through mass layoffs in 2022 and 2023. And that's when the hacking spiked dramatically because they don't have a customer support team and they wanted to basically increase what their bottom line, right? They want to make more money, so they feel like, oh, we can cut the customer service people, and so this allowed hackers to maintain this control over people's pages. Their service and privacy policies state that the company works to maintain security on the platform and will investigate suspicious activity to combat bad actors. But we know that's not true.
It's not, because
How
hundreds,
many people were reporting this
right,
just for you? It had to be
hundreds.
at minimum.
Yeah,
I reported
hundreds.
it a few times myself, several
Right.
times, several.
And
So I know that other people were doing the same thing.
and talking about it, it's like, I can't believe it's gone. It's like I lost my child all over again.
I know.
And
I'm so
I
sorry.
think it's the heart. What I'm sitting and I'm like, oh my God, where do I do this? So I've started a lot of the things, like, because October is a huge month.
Yes.
Honoring babies on my personal page. And then I'm like, well, my reach is smaller because I'm doing it on my page. And that's what led me to collaborate with other organizations, because it has to continue. It has to continue. I know it was only at this point I went from doing it almost every day to once a month. But it has to continue, because otherwise, and I do have a book of life. So the names, the numbers are always increasing.
I mean, if they want, they can do this to dead infants.
Exactly.
We've reached rock bottom.
This is rock bottom. And the fact that
you're reporting that your page dedicated to honoring the memory of infants that have died between 0 and 2 years old has been hacked. And there's no human connection to care enough to say, what? Oh my goodness, this is horrendous. We're going to get on top of this, Ms. Hall, and we're going to make sure you get your page back, because this is so important. We want to make sure that these families continue to be honored in the way they've been honored. I would love to know, where does the investigation go? When you say you have a problem, where does it really end up?
Well, it's Meta. So they have fed it a few keywords. They have fed it certain phrases. And if we're not privy to what those phrases are, let me just say that.
Right.
But if those phrases are not in any of the stuff that's being reported, forget it. I mean,
right.
As far as they're concerned, how do they know it's not me doing this?
Right.
I mean, granted, you can look and see that I have never posted any of what's up there, and I never would. But when I can't even look on the page now.
I know you can. It was even hard for me when I knew when I had to put the slides in. I was like, oh my gosh, like I know you haven't seen it. So I was like, oh God.
I'm not looking because it makes me so angry, and I have to say something.
Oh, I know.
And it's falling on deaf
it is
deaf ears, and they know that there's nothing I can do.
So this lawsuit, when it was filed, what was it, a year ago?
Yes.
It's huge. I mean, there's 40 different state attorneys involved in this lawsuit.
Yes.
As well as the Attorney General for the District of Columbia.
Yes.
So this is not small potatoes. And this is what people don't understand about lawsuits a lot of times, especially in these situations. They can be easily avoided with a conversation.
Say it again.
So they can be easily avoided. A lawsuit can be easily avoided with a conversation. All Facebook had to do, and first of all, let's face it, $725 million is peanuts for them.
Right.
Mark Zuckerberg could write that check today and it wouldn't hurt him a bit. He'd probably make it back in a week, not even probably a day. But again, why is there actually no humans that you can talk to resolve this issue to the point where it has to get to a lawsuit? And then for 40 state attorneys to get involved, they definitely have evidence, proof, all this stuff. So now you're going to stall on the money. You've already hurt people by destroying their accounts, not
Their
protecting
reputation.
their reputation, and possibly even their livelihoods if they were monetized, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now you've really affected a person and or their family in ways that it's going to have some very long-term negative repercussions. You add insult to the injury by saying, "Oh, you've won, but we're going to drag this out even more for you because we can afford to." That's the other thing. We can afford to drag this out for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Basically, you'll die before you get your money is what they're saying, right? Like, because they can afford to keep going.
Exactly.
Appealing. But I'm actually really glad that people spoke up about it. You know, every now and then you hear about people getting hacked, but you don't really know the extremes of it. Because you're my good friend and it happened to you, I really said, you know, now I'm really going to dig deep and look into it. Then, of course, I got scared myself and started changing. And, you know, and all of our stuff, too, white hats and all the stuff we're trying to do.
You have to.
Oh,
you have to change.
I went in. I you know, put the 2-factor authentication on everything we had.
Yes.
But then I was like, you know, at the same time, I'm like, if it's they, you know, they're not protecting people's information. I think about, I don't know if this has happened to you, but at least 2 or 3 times a month, I get an alert that someone's trying to look in my Gmail.
Not just my Gmail, my PayPal,
Yeah.
my Instagram. I had to change because everything was linked.
Yes.
So I had to change passwords for Instagram. I don't even use Twitter. I may have used Twitter twice. Not Twitter, TikTok.
Yeah.
May have used it twice.
I know, we're still learning.
We are. I am
Everyone's
not
like, where are your videos? I'm like, look, I'm learning. We're getting there.
Exactly. We're gonna get there.
Yeah.
But I had to change that password. And in the meantime, I'm writing down, okay, what did I change it to? Doggone it, I forgot the password. I had to go back and change it again.
So here's what I found out because I was like, how do they get the access? So it says the hackers, you know, basically once they get access to your information, they then, and this is what happened to you, they add themselves as ad managers to your account. Then they start just posting all their stuff on there, their own product. If it's someone from a foreign country, then that starts to take over the page, all that sort of stuff. Again, making the rude comments. So this will make Facebook AI disable your account as well if they start doing that kind of stuff to you. They also link fake Instagram accounts with your Facebook, and that will disable it permanently. But if you are paying for ads, guess what? Those still run. But now those people, you're getting charged.
Control it. Yep.
You're getting charged. It's wild.
And see, that's why I immediately, after this happened, I changed every password.
Yes.
And each week I go in and I change the password. I'm running out of combinations, so I might have to take them up on that offer.
Are you running like security stuff, like to check for malware now and all that stuff? Like, do you have
I don't know how to. I have antivirus. I think I'm clean. You know, I had to. My laptop died.
You know, that's the other thing I heard, that it's actually they are able to access your information easier on a laptop, and I'm always on my laptop. I'm not really
Who uses a desktop anymore? Nobody uses a desktop. Well, not many.
Well, I'm on mine now, so I'm sorry, girl, but I do. I love my desktop because I like writing on a big screen. I need a big screen. I'm getting older. Okay. And I don't see as well. And I want to see when I write or do anything, I like it big on the screen. and I even have a gigantic laptop. It's like 17 inches because again, I like a
Love
big
it.
screen. I had a little 13 inch. I wasn't getting it. I was like, I can't with this. This is not gonna get it.
Mm.
So but it's actually safer to run to be on Facebook on your phone. But again, I don't like doing every single thing on my phone all the time. I
It
sometimes just
can't be that safe. They still hacked mine and stole it. And
Mhm.
I mainly use Facebook via the app.
So they're saying now, just like I was just doing some research and I found like a good Reddit thread about this, and the person was saying to log out, and we all know that's so annoying to log out and log back in.
Right.
They actually said that it's 300% safer to use the Facebook app on a phone rather than a browser because the browsers have cookies that can be stolen. And then
But you
once,
can block those. I have ad blocker on my laptop.
Mhm,
And if it's a site that requires me to disable the ad blocker, guess
mhm,
what? I'm not going onto that site.
right, yeah, the bottom line is if they want to get in, they can get in.
And I'm thinking because in July,
Mm-hmm.
my uncle passed away and I was dealing with family drama, and I
Yeah.
remember someone reaching out to me via the messenger,
Yep.
asking me if I wanted to make money doing something, and I'm 51. I know that I have only made money off the one time I got something for free
Yeah.
was my very first Mac.
Mm-hmm.
And somehow I won a free, remember when they had the cute little colors, the
Yeah.
desktop, the
Oh,
little,
I love
I
those.
love those too. Well, I won one of those in red,
Oh, that's awesome.
and that was the last thing I've ever won,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and I thought I had scored big, but that
Yeah.
was it. You
Yeah.
cannot go through and fill out all of these things that, because if it sounds too good to be true, it is
Mm-hmm.
too good to be true.
Yeah,
So
that's
when they reached out to me offering me money for ads, I said no. And I blocked them. I am the blocking queen.
yeah.
But I'm thinking these are the people that actually stole my page. Because
Right.
while I'm saying something in my text pattern or my
Mm-hmm.
my message pattern must have given them a way to get in.
Yeah, something happened.
So either we were engaging
Mm-hmm.
and they were able to pick something up or hack or whatever. Who knows? These people are pros at doing this.
They are. So how do you feel now that it's been 3 or 4 weeks later? How are you feeling about everything, and how are you, like moving on with it?
I'm partnering with other organizations as
That's good.
long as they'll change the password regularly,
Okay.
because if it's lost again, once we get, and of course it benefits them, especially if they don't have the same number of followers. There's an across these three organizations that have come together, I'm
Mm-hmm.
the only one with this number of followers.
Yeah. And
So
Have you
it
built a
benefits
page? Have
them.
you built a page yet? Or are you in the process of just
They're
thinking of?
we're in the process and we're still talking.
Okay.
So if the talks don't go well, then I don't think I'm gonna rebuild.
So you did say that you reached out to an attorney?
I
Of
did reach out
Okay,
to the attorney because apparently California has really been on top of this. And
interesting.
there's an oh yeah, there's there are through that Bloomberg law site,
Mm-hmm.
um a lawsuit was filed the day after this happened to me. And
Wow,
I did reach out to an attorney and I haven't heard back from that attorney.
so frustrating.
And I don't know, I doubt if I'm too late since it happened the day before they filed the lawsuit.
This was recent, right? Because I just read an article on Bloomberg.
Right, this was
Yeah,
too,
I
they
just
just, it's
yeah,
been what? It's been about 3 weeks as of today that the
yeah.
lawsuit
Maybe
was
maybe
filed.
maybe try to call and
Well,
see.
hopefully they'll,
Don't let me get involved.
hey, I may have to say, "Hey T,
Yeah, I'll call them.
you need to take over on this
I'll
because
call them.
maybe I'm not being as, and I'm the prime case for this
You
because
are.
it's
This is
dead
really
babies."
something. This is something. I mean, I was sick when I digested it. I really was sick. I was like,
Who does
beyond.
this?
This is beyond.
And to me, it feels like they have really, it's just hard to believe that somebody would do this
Yeah.
on a memorial page.
On a memorial page. So, it makes me think about, we've been a part of so many different pages. And I don't really go back through. When I first started writing about birth trauma and all these things that had happened to me, I was a part of so many groups. I'm afraid now to go and look, and like, what if they've been taken over? Like, all these people have shared all these personal stories.
Yes.
You've journeyed together through different events, ups and downs, legislation, community initiatives, all these things. And for it to just be erased. That's what doesn't happen when something's going to Meta or a computer. You're not getting someone who understands an individual's journey through a very traumatic experience. And the fact that these companies, they're not valuing the actual human beings, and they're benefiting, they're profiting off of human beings sharing their lived experiences. That's all that Facebook is.
Yeah.
People sharing their day-to-day, the good and the bad. And that's how they make connections with other people. That's what builds a following. And that's how everybody's making money. That's how they're making money. But then when you need actual help, when the individual needs help, it's crickets.
Oh, yeah. Or we found nothing wrong with.
That's the most, that thing sends me to Pluto. That's my saying, when I don't, that sent me to Pluto. It literally sent me to Pluto when I got that response back. I'm like, so let me get this straight. A person who created a page about infant loss, the page was hacked. And instead of infant loss, now we're posting about pizzas and Melania Trump and P. Diddy. That doesn't violate any. Okay. I was sick. And I was getting angry because it kept, I reported it a few times and I kept getting that message back. And you would think once 100 people, even 5 or 10, right, report the same thing about the same page, that should send like alarm bells to them.
It should, but it hasn't.
Nope.
And it's been quite a few. I mean, over 100 people did do something.
Yeah, even if you scroll back down to the early comments, you can see, like, before it got so crazy and taken over, but I'm really sorry that happened to you. And thanks for sharing that with everyone. I wanted to give you some time to, just recover from that, because I know that's really hard. So, that's why, I was like, let's not film for a while. And it's just, that's another loss. You have to
digest
really,
it.
like, process that. It was a lot of hard work, a lot of emotions. So thank you for your hard work. And, I guess, it'll be I hate to say like a fresh start or a new beginning, but hopefully that you'll be able to just preserve all of those things, but in a new way, and hopefully one that's more secure.
Yes.
Yeah.
I've looked at other sites, and in time they'll be just like Facebook.
They all will eventually, feels like.
Right? Just trying to figure out, okay, where do I want to just do a memorial website where I have control of the website?
Yeah.
Or what do I want to do? I know ProPublica did a beautiful memorial, small scale memorial, absolutely gorgeous.
And you could do that, and then you could, link it. You could share it.
Right, and I'm thinking
on all of your pages, that might be a better, route to
I think it's safer.
Yeah.
And there's no metadata, meta, whatever.
No meta. No
yes,
meta.
No meta. No AI.
We don't want no more meta.
No, I don't think meta serves me.
Yeah, meta is not demure. Meta's very aggressive. She's not thoughtful.
Meta goes against Facebook standards.
Yes, against their own standards. It's wild.
It's like, if we could rate them, they'd be constantly pulled off of Facebook.
They would. I wish we could report them as violate, right? Like, I wish we could.
Right. They're violating human standards.
Right. They are. So, what are you up to for the rest of the week? What's happening?
It's
Anything
Pregnancy
interesting?
and Infant Loss Awareness Month, so something's always going on.
But
So
where can
I'm
we find what you're going to be up to? Do you have
Well,
anything?
I'm teaching fertility this weekend, so that's that. Today I'm recording for Better Birth Summit.
Okay.
Tomorrow I'm recording for CHOMS MediHelp, which is an organization that is in Chicagoland.
Okay.
And then Friday I'm pretty much smooth. Simone's coming home for the long weekend.
Oh, that's nice.
So we're gonna, I know she'll probably sleep for 2 days straight, but
Yeah.
she and Leah going to get their hair done on Monday.
Oh, that's so cute.
Yeah. And then she's going back. She's going to work Tuesday morning and then going to class from work.
Okay.
So
Okay,
she's like, Jelani, can you take my stuff back to campus for me? Bring it to me at a later time, later on Tuesday, because I gotta. And can you drop me to work on Tuesday before you go to work?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what are you doing for this long weekend?
We haven't decided yet. Now that I'm an official Southerner, I think we'd like to experience apple picking in the South.
Yes.
So we'll probably take a trip maybe up to the mountains.
Nice.
And see what this feels like down here. So it'll be our first year in Southern apple picking. So I'm like, will it be different? Will it be like 90 degrees and not, 50 or less? Trying to figure it out. I know it's cooler in the mountains, but that might mean 80 here.
Wait a minute. So no hot apple cider at and those apple cider donuts when you.
Girl, this is. I mean, they.
But
have,
if it's 80 degrees,
they have all that, but then they have all this other yummy stuff that I never saw up north. It's like all these, fried apple pies and there's stuff like that.
Oh, I want to go apple picking
one of the best things I ever ate, and I still think about this, was at Shelbourne Farm in Massachusetts. It was an apple donut bread pudding.
Really?
It was. I still can taste it because it was one of the.
Okay, we're going to Shelbourne Farm.
Yeah. There's another farm I like to go to too. I'll tell you about when we get done. But I have like my favorites up there. But that one's a really fun one. Especially for Lee. As you get a little older, you probably go to the other one, but that one's like, it just has all the things. So it's super fun. But, so I want to there's an apple festival here this weekend and the following weekend. And it, so it's like tons of, artisans, music, all the farms, with all their different types of apples and all the different things they make with the apples. So I thought that'd be fun. So we're going to.
That sounds good.
So either that or I'll, talk to you, on Monday and be like, girl, I slept all weekend. I didn't make it up to the farm, but no, we're going to try to do that. It'll be good for the girls.
Yeah. That sounds wonderful.
Yeah. And I'm curious to see what the leaves look like here. Change it. Like, I'm like, cause where I'm at right now, it's not really like, I'm not seeing like the oranges and the reds and all that, the yellows. So I'm like, does this happen if I go a little further up north? It's still like super green. So
I can send you all the leaves you want.
I just need to be reminded of what it all looked like.
Oh, it's horrible. It's all over the ground now. So
yeah, I don't miss that. I don't miss
all over the ground.
And where we used to live, it all seemed like they loved to collect right in front of our house. It always seemed like our house collected all the leaves for the street.
And that's my yard right now. And down on the side of the house, a little walkway on the side, there are leaves. I went out the other day and almost fell because I slipped on the wet leaves. And I was like, where did all these leaves come from?
Yes, you would certainly slip on some wet leaves. That's
right. But they weren't there the day before. That's the thing that got me. All the rain that we got caused the leaves to fall, and they've all congregated on one side of the house. So I'm like, you know what? They've got to go.
Well, be careful, girl.
Definitely will.
We gotta be white hats, honey. We gotta keep it moving and grooving, telling people.
And we will. Yes, and we'll continue to spill the tea.
Yes, and we've got to election is like so close now. So we'll be talking about that, I guess. I've been avoiding it, but I guess it's time. It's time for us to really come up outside of ourselves and be who we really are, honey. Really give the people the full Tamoria and NECA experience.
Yes.
As it relates to politics, right? So
Mhm.
so we'll get some episodes going on that. But always good to see you.
Likewise.
And
Miss you guys.
I know, we miss you too. And we you know, you'll be the first to know when we come up. You know, we're trying to figure that out.
And I'm trying to figure out going south, but with all these doggone storms, I don't like snow, and I definitely don't want to get caught in a tornado. I mean,
I'm inland, bro.
yeah, but inland got hit. Like,
No, it doesn't mean anything anymore. I
yeah.
said, now I come down here, we have all these problems.
Remember when we used to get all of the hurricanes?
Yes, I do.
I don't know what y'all did to switch the tide. I mean, not that I want one.
Right.
I'm perfectly fine
I
without
know.
one.
I
But
know. Crazy.
you know, it's
Crazy.
been crazy.
And once again, we're sending prayers to everyone in the
Yes.
past. Please, you know, be safe.
Be smart.
Yeah, I think everybody's just doing their best, you know, and just have to just support people with whatever choices they made or whatever circumstances they had to just deal with. So, you know, we'll be thinking about you and good luck.
Yes.
And we will see you next week for another episode of
Take
White
care,
Love. Thanks for
everyone.
watching. Bye.
Thank you.